Welcome back to Chaos Collectibles. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at my latest custom figure, Gundahar. All right, so this one's my favorite so far. I've really liked the way that this guy turned out. So let's take a look at him here real quick. See if you can get a good look at those eyes there. The way the hair kind of goes back, like, works perfect with the cape, right? This guy was a challenge to make. Now, he's not finished yet. I am actually going to take these out and prime them probably this weekend, the boot covers. And I want them to match the belt. And I'll probably paint this part of the sword where it goes up there and then down, black, dry brush gray over it, I think. And that'll help them details pop too. So just some afterthoughts on this. When I took a picture of him the other day, he did not have these boot covers, but I have a couple coming. So I stole these off another figure, and I'll put them on once I get them. So let's go over the build of this guy. So first things first, he is a flesh eater body. He has Slayer arms, and of course the straight legs that I just happen to have. I don't know what figure they come off of. So what I did is I ended up priming them, and then I put them back together. That's the first thing I do is I disassemble the figures, I prime them, pop them back together. And then I ended up painting the body. So I went over the entire body with that fur brown. That's the color of the spray, the primer. Then I went over it with the beastly brown. I gotta get another one. It's the most commonly used color I use. And then I mixed a flat skin tone with the beastly brown. And I dry brushed over it. But the color contrast was kind of weird. So what I did is I mixed more beastly brown, and I kind of went over the recessed areas afterward. So there's several different skin tones on this guy. I know it's probably hard to see through there, through the camera. So I ended up doing that. And then for the head, the legs are just a flat black. Boots, flat black. And then the hair I did flat black. And then I actually dry brushed over it. It really doesn't show up that well now, but I dry brushed over it with a black gray, which is the same color that I used for the gorilla that I did. But then once I Mod Podged it, it kind of washed the highlights out. The highlights were pretty subtle. I didn't want anything I didn't want to use like white and make his hair look gray. And then I went over the headband with a Stonewall gray. Dry brushed it. And then for the eyes, it's probably hard to tell, but I ended up doing the eyes with the green, and then I black dotted them suckers for the pupils, and then I took it to the next level and got a white and put the little reflection, you get the little reflection in your eyes from the light, and put that in there too. It's probably really hard to see with the camera here. I'm trying to hold this as still as I can, if you can see that or not. Trying to take my my skills to the next level with every figure. In the first couple I do, once I take a break, right? It's like I gotta acclimate myself back into it, And then from there, the shoulder pauldrons are actually from this Pirate Spawn figure. Okay. The belt is from Trapjaw Vintage. And then I just put some epoxy sculpt, made some balls out of epoxy sculpt to put around the skull to give it a different look than the original figure. And then this part down here actually come off the back of this guy. He had a little tiny like piece of a cape, and I ended up cutting it into the shape, cut off some of the excessive stuff that wouldn't fit between his legs. The general shape is still there, but I think it turned out pretty good. And that is actually glued to the belt. And the way that these figures are made, they're a little bit thicker around the waist than a Masters of the Universe figure. So after I primed and painted that belt, primed it first, painted that sucker, did the sculpting, primed it, then painted it, and then glued this piece on. I actually glued the clasp in the back, so that is not removable, okay? Not removable at all. And then I cut the neck peg off this guy because it wouldn't fit the head. In every one of these figures, I have to attach the heads differently depending on how the heads are. And I'll show you that here in a later video. So I cut the neck peg off. As you can see, it doesn't look like there's anything holding the cape on. So what I did is I cut the shape of the cape using some fabric scissors. And I ended up cutting a little hole in it for the neck, really close to the front edge. And I slid that over the neck peg, and I pushed all that fur back. Pushed all the fur back so you can't see it across his neck. But if you're to look underneath his neck there, it is there, but it's way up in there. So that way it stayed on. And then I ended up taking some glue, because that was one of the challenges of doing this figure was, one, getting this belt to stay. Glued that sucker. And then I hot glued these to the cape. And I don't know if any of you guys have used a hot glue gun before, but man, that shit is stringy. So I just put a little bit of glue underneath the pauldron here, pulled the string off because I don't want to get stringy glue all over the cape, and then put them on. And then I ended up going in afterward and I put a little bit of super glue in the back just to make sure it had a better hold. And then from there, to hold the head on, I made some epoxy sculpt, built the neck up, and pushed that head down on it. So whether or not this head's going to come off, I don't pick it up by the head. I may have to glue it on. So this is just a, like a statuesque figure. Head isn't going to move. It wouldn't anyways with the way the hair is. Fixed head, glued on. Everything on this figure is meant to stay on and not meant to come off at all. So I would say besides the paint job of the Pictish Scout, which is one of the craziest paint jobs I've done, and the complexity of Thulsa Doom, this one's probably the next as far as what I had to do to make this thing work. A lot went into this figure. It is my favorite figure so far. I really like human characters, and I've been looking for a long time, a very long time, for years, on trying to find a way to get more heads for these guys. And I finally came across the source. He doesn't have like an endless amount of different heads, but he's got enough to keep me busy for a while. So I'm very pleased at how this guy turned out. This is my favorite custom figure that I've done to date. And it is an original character, as I did, I didn't sculpt a head or anything, but the way that I put them together in the character itself, this is my favorite so far. So I'm really happy with the way this guy turned out, and there you have it, everybody. This is Gundahar Chaos Collectibles custom frickin' figure. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you all have an awesome day. Until next time. Woo!